Strat CPC means a lot to me. Will you come and see how I play Desi? If you're in love with retro gaming, come and join the board. And if you want a Friday foursome, watch him and you could. Nova Bug.
Right, well, it's been about 3 hours since I got in off my mini summer holiday down in London, or up in London should I say, from where I am. So I'm back home in Cornwall. It's great to be back with the fresh air, it really is. But it was a great few days, it really was. Busy few days, you can probably tell by my eyes I'm very tired. But yeah, let's talk about Play London. And yes, interesting. An interesting kind of different kind of event than Manchester and Blackpool. We'll go into detail a little bit. I think I'll discuss it, kind of give it a review, as it were. I've seen a few people giving their comments about it, and would like to share mine if you will indulge me. Now, I'll give you some context here. I only attended the Sunday. I could only manage to go on the Sunday, so I did miss the Saturday, and I did hear from a few people that it was quite busier on the Saturday, and I did miss a fair few things that happened on the Saturday. I believe I missed the Oliver Twins, and I believe I missed a few other good speeches. A few others, which the YouTuber panel I think was on the Saturday as well, with a few of my YouTuber friends. That would have been nice to see that, but unfortunately I couldn't make the Saturday, but I did make the Sunday, and did experience a few bits and pieces, as it were. The reason why is because I was attending a wedding. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, had a wedding on the Saturday, so therefore couldn't make it, but I was actually going up for the wedding anyway, but I ended up going to Legoland on the Friday, wedding on the Saturday, and then Play on the Sunday, and then Monday bang back here. So a busy few days, but all good, all in the name of enjoyment. So the Printworks, interesting venue indeed. It's so it's like a old gutted out factory warehouse kind of thing, an old factory. I don't know much about it. Don't know much about that part of London. There's sort of all the modded Dockland area. It's near Canada Water, just very close to Bermondsey actually. So I think the last time I went down in Bermondsey was when I was doing my multi-drop driving. So I'm going back quite a bit. But found the place very easily, no problem there, no problem getting there. Signage a bit thin on the ground, you know, not much signage around the sort of station or anything to sort of like tell you where to go. So, you know, but in the age of Google Maps and shit like that, you know, it's very easy to find. So that wasn't a problem. I thought the tickets were a little bit more expensive this time. You know, thankfully, you know, I didn't pay for a ticket. I very graciously got given a press pass by the organisers, Replay Events. So thank you very much, guys, for that. So it's all very good for them to do that for me. Put me on the status of a few other YouTubers and a few other press people, which is always good. So this is why I do my review and such. And I've got a little highlight package coming up as well. Took quite a bit of footage of what I can. Very dark in certain parts of the venue, I thought, this time. But it was big. It was certainly big. It was more on the scale of Manchester in the terms of size than obviously Blackpool, if you've ever been to either of them two events. And I'd say there was a lot to do. I think there was much more arcade cabs available. Could be wrong on that. They seem to be certainly more modern games going on. A lot of LAN gaming going on the PCs. Lots of VR on the PlayStation. Some VR PlayStation stuff. Some PlayStation LAN gaming as well. Xbox, I believe, as well. So a lot of that going on. A quite significant part of the second hall area was dedicated to that, along with some of the retro consoles and a few other bits, but big chunks of it were dedicated to sort of PC LAN gaming, modern console gaming and that kind of stuff, which is great. It's fine if you're into that kind of stuff. I would have preferred to see more retro consoles there. I think there was three or four long tables of the retro consoles, a fair few systems sort of like not there what you expect to find at Blackpool. So a bit disappointing on that sound, but again everything seemed to be working quite well. Saying that though, the arcade cabinets, I think I counted about 10 cabs inoperative, not working at all, which was a shame. Apparently I got told by Kieran Hawken of Lard's Lair, the YouTube channel Lard's Lair, that they had broken maybe in the transition during Saturday, and they had broken down and were not working on the Sunday. Apparently a lot more were working on the Saturday, so that was a bit of a shame to see that a few games not working. Like I think the Outrun cabinet wasn't working, I believe. There was a few pinball tables, lots of pinball tables, which was good to see. Two big displays of pinball tables, much like you get in Manchester, because you only get like a small selection in Blackpool. So yeah, it was separated into. I mean, the place is huge. So you go into the first sort of area is a complete dead space. It's I think Custado Irwin said something about this, about parts of the event which are sort of like dead areas. There's nothing really going on. So the first area is pretty much dead. Just where people were just obviously coming in. When I came in on the Sunday, it was very quiet with people coming in. There was no queuing. I believe there was a lot of queuing on the Saturday. And all you got there was a few signage. You had the food court to one side where you had some food vendors. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. On one side, nice display for the DeLorean there. It was excellent to see the DeLorean again. And then you go into the next hall, which was where the arcade cabinets were, and the well, basically where the arcade cabinets and the pinball tables were. Then there's another big giant room after that where all the consoles were, and a few other little gaming, some of the indie game setups were there as well, which was really good to see those. And then the next room, which again of equal size, is where all the vendors were. Very spread out for the vendors this time. You're so used to sort of like the vendors being very close together, but they're all very, very spread out. Lots of room to move around, so that's good. Lots of room, but again, some sort of strange, sort of quiet, dead spaces sort of between the vendors, which is always something I wasn't very used to. But I did get to see a few of the vendors this time. Again, prices a little bit on the steep side. You've got to expect that, of course, in London, I guess. But yeah, everyone seemed to be enjoying and looking through the stock. Very good. I picked up a few games, in fact, while I was there. I found some Amstrad games, which is always good, so always go looking for Amstrad games. And a few things that I've never seen before. Eyeball on the Amstrad. Guzzler, which looks like a Pac-Man clone. Hopefully it's better than Munch It, and hopefully you can actually play it unlike you can with Munch It. Alpine Games by Atlantis, and Turbo Boat Simulator. So these four I think I'll feature on the next episode live stream of Amstrad Live Game Testing. We'll go with M4, I think. So yeah, got a few pickups, so that was good. Fair few amount of vendors, good selection, no silly sweets or anything like that. Lots of clothing, lots of artwork, all game related, all retro related. It was all good stuff, and loads of games. There really was quite a substantial sort of like choice this time around. And then you got a few nice displays, like with Nightmare. There's a little sign-in cabinet with Hugo Treguard, who plays Treguard and Nightmare. He was there as well. He did a talk later on about New Nightmare and Nightmare Live as well. I actually sat in on that. Got a few copies, a few photographs of that too. That was cool. The speech area, in fact the talk area, was actually in one of the main rooms. It was separated off with some from prefabricated walls. It wasn't in a separate room this time like it is at Blackpool. So there was a little bit of a sound interference going on. They had a PA system set up, which was fine. But there was a lot of noise coming from the arcades next door, and it wasn't the arcades, sorry, a lot of noise coming from all the console gamers next door, because it's a big echoey room, it's a big echoey area. So it was if you were sitting at the back of the stage, it was a bit tricky to sort of hear what was going on, even with the PA system. Bit of a shame. And the other bit was there was a sort of upstairs section. Another staging area was, I believe that's also where they were doing some of the stand-up VR. They were doing some of the meet and greets for some of the YouTubers and some of these the guests that they have. Some of the developers, they were doing all up there. Some photo shoots they were doing up there, and they were doing the cosplay competitions up there as well. Didn't see any of that. Again, most of that happened on the Saturday. I think the cosplay actually did happen on the Sunday, but I was downstairs at this point. So there was a lot to do. There was a lot to say. Certainly, I think it was good. You're getting a lot for your money. If you paid full price, you probably were getting a lot for your money. There was a lot to do, and you probably couldn't do it in one day if you really wanted to sort of concentrate on every arcade and stuff. So yeah, hats off to Replay for organising such a quite a large scale event. and it was good to sort of see that different style of clientele in London as well. The food court was a bit of a, yeah, there wasn't much, yeah, that was a bit funny. Very expensive food, limited kind of food vendors as well, and the food area was generally a little bit, lots of insects and wasps flying around and stuff, and the staff weren't particularly the politest in the world. They weren't outly rude, but not particularly politest in the world. But hey, that's London for you, I guess. Only one coffee vendor I found, which was bizarre. I would have preferred at least another option of coffee. And don't go on about the pints, too expensive. Luckily, I didn't drink for the first time at a Play Expo. I didn't drink because I couldn't really. But yeah, it was a good event. It was a decent event. I would say though it was it's missing this kind of the warmth that you get with Blackpool and even Manchester to a degree. We always said this about Manchester before. It was a little bit more, certainly more content there, more vendors there, more people there. But it just misses that sort of like, I don't know, that sense of community. I know a lot of people don't like me using that word, but that sense of community, that warmth, that sort of character that Blackpool gives it. So I really do hope they continue with the Blackpool event, even though it's in, you know, the Norfolk Castle. But it's just nice it being there. I know we've got one upcoming in October again. I think Blackpool is like a perfect sort of like, it could be a bit bigger and it could be a little bit more, you know, tied up a bit, a little bit more neater and tidy. But I think the atmosphere that you get from the Blackpool venue is kind of perfect for the subject matter. It's nice to have an event of this size in the south, I must admit, and I hope they do it again. I hope maybe they would get a different venue next time. I thought the Printworks was just maybe too big. It was almost like a film set for some sci-fi films. At one point I'm sure I saw parts of the structure where Red Dwarf was filmed or something. It just seemed too big for the event. A little bit too echoey. There was a lot of noise going on all the time, which is good, the fact they weren't pumping out musicals. And there's not much lighting either. It was all very, I don't want to say soulless, but kind of felt a little bit cold in that aspect. There's a lot to do, trust me, there was, and it was well attended. But I think it just felt a little bit like its heart wasn't there. I don't think that's I'm not saying that's anything to do with the event organisers. It's probably just the way the venue is and the way it sort of fits the theme of the subject matter. But aside from that, I enjoyed it. It was a good day. I spent a good 6 hours there, and I had lots of chats with lots of people. I got a good chat with Larry Bundy Jr. and of course my good friend Dan. Slope's Game Room. They were very busy apparently. Kim, of course, had a good chat with Kim again. Always good to see her. And they were very busy, I think, during the day. Brief chat with Nostalgia Nerd and Kieran. I spoke to Michael Burhan. I hadn't seen Michael for a while, which was good to shake his hand. For been a while since I saw him, and a few others. Pete was there. Missed my friend Steve. I missed him. And Mr. Scott as well. I believe Scott came in the day before. And there's the surprise of the day was this chap that came up to me and said, "Oh, you Chris? Yeah. Novabug? Yeah. And fan of the show, fan of my channel." I thought, bloody hell! And I've only just not even just gone past 2,000. And he wanted an autograph. He wanted me to sign a copy of Amstrad Action. And I was like, really? I don't okay, yeah, great, and I'm honoured, I really am. I was over the moon, but it felt a bit weird to be asked for that, considering I'm, like I've said in my previous video, quite small fry, and not sort of like in with the big crowd, as it were, which is fine, you know. Hopefully these things will change, but who knows. But it was nice, and I saw Novabug on the top of his copy of Amstrad Action, which was the Simply Stunning edition, the issue when they unveiled the GX4000, so a perfect sort of one for me to sign. So that really did make my day. So I was kind of happy about that. But yeah, so there it was. The event was it was good. It was a good event. It wasn't perfect. Like I said, I think the venue could have been a little bit more intimate, maybe a little bit smaller. It kind of didn't suit sort of like what was going on. But hopefully they will do another one in the south, do another one in London. And yeah, and improve on what they started on with a good start to sort of like a southern event. and I would recommend you go the next time. But certainly I would say Blackpool is still my personal favourite of the replay and Expo events. So now I've got nothing else to do apart from say cheers to everybody. Cheers to everybody I met on the day, and I haven't mentioned. I just sometimes I'm terrible with names and faces. I really am bad with names and faces. They go hing over my head, and I can never recognise people. If you've met me before, just come up to me and say, "Hey, I'm here. You know me. We've spoken." Just slap me around the face or something. Not physically, because that's assault, but you know what I mean. So here's my little montage of the day, and yeah, enjoy. And I'll see you soon. Novabug out.